Skylum sent me a technical release, or basically a pre-release version of Luminar Neo. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a hands-on demo of Relight AI and see just what it'll do, not with the demo photos that they sent, but some of my own, so that way I know how this works on something that they have not tested with their algorithm. And I thought I'd show it to you. So that's what we're going to do today. Hi, my name is William Beem. I'm a photographer just like you. Let's take a look at this technical release of Luminar Neo. All right, so I have it loaded up. This is going to be a very limited version. You can see that previous versions I showed were just videos that they had shared, and it still said Luminar AI, but it has some of the tools. On this one, it is a very limited version. It is still, I don't even think it's beta because it doesn't have all the tools in here. It is not optimized for performance yet, but it is there so we can take a look at some of the features and tools they have, and there's nothing else in here. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to start off with this portrait, which is really just a snapshot, but I like it for this demonstration simply because it is in a dark environment. So this is some dancer in a bar in Las Vegas. And I'm sorry, I don't know her name. So we're going to look over here at Creative. You can see Essentials. And all we see are the erase tool, so we can look at remove power lines, remove dust spots. And we're going to take a look at that in another video. On this one, I want to concentrate on doing a few photos with Relight AI. So let me open this up, and you can see there are some advanced settings down here as well. This is probably close to what the user interface is going to look like for this tool. You can tell that it's a little bit different than the videos that they showed. So you see that there is brightness near, brightness far, there is depth, and then down in the advanced settings, there's the dehalo, and then you have warmth near and warmth far. Now, sometimes it takes a little moment for it to scan the photo before these tools work. And if you notice over here, you can see that we're getting that little vibration kind of thing that suggests that it might be thinking. So let's try looking at brightness near, and I'm just going to pick the middle section of moving it over to the right and see what we get. And there's the change. What happens is it is human aware, but you do not need a human in order for this to work. And we'll demonstrate that with some photographs that don't have people in them, or the people are not the main subject. So as I move this up and down, if you look at her, you can kind of see some of the changes, particularly, I think, down in the lower part of the photo. But as I bring this up, it's bringing brightness to her. And that is much more usable. So I'm going to reset this. And you can see she's very much in shadow. You couldn't make out a face of who it was. So we can go ahead and bring this up here. Now, brightness far, you could do the same thing to open up the shadows in the background, but it's not quite a shadows adjustment. But you can also bring down that exposure if you really want to put the spotlight, so to speak, on your subject here. Now, I'm going to reset this again, and I want to take a look at bringing up brightness near, and then let's take a look at the depth. I'm going to bring it down first, and then bring it back up gradually. This tool works best with photos that have some depth to them. So if I had this, brought up the brightness far, and then moved this up and down, you can see how the depth is kind of changing as we go on her. And I think it'll be more clear in some of the other photos, but let's go ahead and reset this all again. Dehalo is in case you see some kind of haloing behind your subject. And honestly, I wasn't that impressed with the video demo that we saw before, but I am impressed with what I'm seeing now. So if I bring up, again, my brightness near, and then I check my dehalo, I usually look around the subject's hairline if we've got a person there, and I don't see a problem in this one. All right, so warmth near and warmth far does the same thing. If I want to warm her up, I will bring up warmth near, and you can see that it's kind of, adding some warm tones to her. If I bring this down, then it's kind of cooling her off. Same thing with far. If I bring this up, it's going to warm up that background. And if I want to have some color contrast, I can cool down the background. All right, so let's reset everything. We're going to go get another photograph. All right, so this photograph, you can tell there's a painted backdrop behind them. So let's go ahead into Relight AI. And brightness near, I'm going to bring up. And brightness far, I'm going to bring down a little bit. You can see it's kind of taking down the exposure in that background. We can also make the the warmth where it says warmth far. Let's see if we can take the background and warm that up, which is exactly the opposite of what the color is in that painted backdrop. So I want to cool that down a little bit more so I get more color contrast between the two of them. And that means I want to warm these people up a little bit. And that almost gets you like that orange and teal kind of thing. But you're dealing with color contrast with warmth near and warmth far. The dehalo, I'm not seeing a need for it right here. You can see in the gentleman's hair over here, as I move this over, you can see how it's happening. And there's a little bit also, I think, on this little hair piece coming over. So it depends upon your photograph if you need it or not. But I'm actually kind of pleased with what I get. I'm not seeing too much of a halo. I don't know if this section over here is from the tool or if it's from the painted backdrop, because that is kind of like a defocused look. Now let's take a look at the depth. And you can see if we start all the way over here, it's bringing more shadow, is what I'm going to call it, to the forefront. And then as you move, it just kind of walks that back, and it's brightening up things from the foreground to the background as you move over. And I think that's really interesting that it's working on a painted backdrop, but it's perceiving depth, and that's what we can see. So as we bring this depth over, you can see like the background is going up, and that might look like there's a little bit of a halo there. I don't think there is, but we can easily correct that with dehalo. I'm going to reset this. We're going to go choose another photograph. So this is a snapshot from Havana, just a gentleman walking along. So we're going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to try and brighten things near us. And you can see how it's kind of just subtly changed. And if you want to see a before and after, there's a little eyeball down here. So this is where we were, and this is where we are. So you can see it's kind of brightened his skin tone, brightened his clothes, and also the street before us. And if I want to darken up the background a little bit, it does that. And let's darken that up. Now let's kind of walk our depth. You can see almost a shadow line down there on the street. And as the depth goes, it's walking that further back. So this is what I mean when I say that this tool works best with photos that have some depth to them. There's a foreground, there's a middle, and there's a background. That gives you room to walk the light back. And again, we can do the same thing. We can, let's say in this case, we're going to warm up the foreground and we're going to cool down what's near us. So you've got your options, and then we can reverse that. We can cool that down and warm this up. So there's a little bit warmer in the street, and he's kind of in the center. So you might have to use your depth control to decide where that dividing line between near and far is going to be. And if you want to brighten everything up, you can. And you can change your depth to whatever works for your photograph. So let's take a look again at our before and after. Let's go choose yet another photo. I chose this one because there's really not a lot of depth, and I wanted to see what happens when we try this. So she's well lit and exposed here. She kind of stands out from this. I don't, other than like, you know, some bags and stuff down here, I don't really need to do anything as far as relighting her, but let's try it once again. Let's say that we want to cool down that wall behind her and warm her up. So just a quick before and after. So you can see that back wall was actually pretty warm by itself. So we've cooled it down, and that helps her pop up a little bit more. And of course we can brighten her up. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the brightness far. Let's bring that down a little bit and then brighten her up. So you can see that it is human aware. And then of course you can change your depth to see where you want that light really to go. And it just kind of walks the light from front to back. And then you choose the spot that works best for you in your photograph. So we started here, and there was very bright on the background, and we came up here. I said that we were going to try something that did not have a person in it. And I'm curious to try a photo like this. This is a top-down or a bird's eye photo. So the depth may get thrown off. It may not. Honestly don't know because I haven't tried this yet. But let's see what happens if we do brightness near. And you can see that it is kind of choosing something, but I think I may be confusing it. And we're going to turn down brightness far. And let's work with the depth. So I want to bring this all the way down and then move this over. and you can see it. It's almost like it's walking from the bottom. So I'm going to bring this back and try and move it slowly again. So you notice how it's dark here, and watch this corner kind of walk up, for lack of a better way to describe it. And on a top-down photo like this, that's how it's working. And of course, we can warm what's near and we can cool down what's far. I think it's an interesting experiment with a top-down photo like this, but it's probably not a tool that I would use for a bird's eye photo. Now, this shot over here is one where I did try this before, and I had, I would say, confusing results. And again, this might be confusing to the program. I can clearly cool down the distance. So if I bring this warmth far, I've definitely cooled everything down. If I try to warm up what's near, I don't think I'm really getting anything. Let's look at before and after. So we can see that we've cooled down the sun. This is our before. The sun is very bright. And then as I let go, we see our coolness. I don't really see anything with what's happening near on a photo like this. So I'm going to reset everything. And I'm going to turn up brightness near. And it does make a change. And what it's changing is this foreground element over here. So there are no humans in this. And it is choosing something that's near. So this is going to be closer to the lens than anything else. And then I can turn down the brightness that's a bit far away. And then you can, of course, change your depth as to how you walk the lighting around to see what's near and what's far. So I'm going to say this, maybe just up to that boat is where I want it to be. And then I'm going to warm up the near part and cool down the far part. So let's take a look at our before and after. This is before, and this is after. So this is a big open area where there's a dance troupe in Havana that does their practice. So let's try this. And again, I'm just going to go bring up brightness near. I'm going to bring down brightness far. And that made a dramatic change. And let's work with our depth. So I'm going to take this all the way off and move it up, just kind of to get those gentlemen right up front. And then I think I'm going to warm up the people up front and cool down the background. So let's take a look at our before and our after. And that's my demonstration of Relight AI inside of Luminar Neo. Now, whether you approve of the changes I made or not, that's really a matter of taste. You can work with your photos however you want. But these are photos that I've taken. They are primarily Nikon RAW. I think the one on the boat was definitely a stock image that I pulled down. So that was a JPEG file. But most of what you've seen here are Nikon RAW files that I'm working with. And it's also working with JPEG files, as you saw with the photo with the boats on the water. And also the top-down shot of the forest, that was also Adobe stock JPEG. So the tools do work with either JPEG or with Adobe RAW. I find them very interesting. I think, to me, the Relight AI is going to be just as useful as the Accent AI when Luminar AI first came out. So this is an interesting tool. I'll be working with it a lot. In a future video, I'm going to show you the changes in the erase tool, which I'll bring up over here. And you'll see that we can remove power lines and remove dust spots. So that'll be the next video coming out. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please click the like button. That tells the YouTube overlords that I did something right. They'll share this with more people, and hopefully that'll give them something interesting. If you are interested in Luminar Neo, I will be giving away a course for free for anyone who decides to buy from my affiliate link. That is williambeem.com/Luminar Neo. So you will get it when you'll get the software when it comes out, which is guaranteed to be in this winter season. I don't have an exact date when it's going to be coming out. Hopefully I will get a pre-release version that's full enough that I can start working on the course before it comes out. But if not, it'll come out shortly afterwards. So that is my offer. And of course, the best pricing is now. There'll be pricing before the release, in which case, once the final release comes out, the price will go up. At that time, I can offer you a coupon code, which is my last name, Beem, and that will save you $10. But if you buy before that, you'll save the most money. Also, keep in mind, there is a 30-day guarantee. The 30 days does not start until you have your software in hand. So there is no risk to you. If you get it and decide that this is not for you, once you've got it, you've got 30 days to try it out, see if it works for you or not. And if it doesn't for some reason, then Skylum doesn't ask any questions. You just say, I would like a refund, please, and they'll take care of it. So there's really no risk. So I would encourage you, if this looks like something that's interesting to you, please, I would say go ahead, place your order, and then there is no risk with the money back guarantee the way they've structured. I think it's a very good deal. All right, that's all I've got right now. I'll see you in the next video.